One. Yo, everybody, welcome to another episode of the Can-Am Connection on ArmTalk. I'm your host, one of the co-hosts, Jody Williams, my other co-host, Team Canada, Mr. Nathan Williamson. Nathan. So,
we
Team Canada, right? And
we
by
gotta
the
have
way,
the Canadian flag if and with Ryan not being here, right? So
well, you got the Canadian jersey,
I do.
knuckles up, called me Canadian, so it's all good. And they started releasing some of their matches from Knuckles Up 5, by the way. 2 matches have been released so far. Nadia's match was released about 8 minutes ago, and then BJ Fokakis, his match was just released about 15 minutes ago. So everybody be aware, check them out, because you will start seeing some matches being uploaded. And our co-host, Mr. SB, at some point, his match will be uploaded also. So, Clifton Erickson, the Drew, welcome to the show. So today's topic, results from MAC 3. We're going to touch base over some ArmGods and some WinterBlast coming up next week. Matter of fact, I leave a week from today to go down to Philly. So now then,
Philly, city of brotherly love, isn't that what it is?
oh yeah, I'm going to get one of the authentic
Hey,
Philly steak and cheese. And I don't mean it is going to be like on a corner store.
you can go
So
to
like
the
Sal's,
you can go to the chocolate factory while you're out there.
Hershey.
Yeah,
Isn't that like an hour away or something like that? Hershey, Pennsylvania. They had to just let me come in there for free. My nickname is Chocolate Thunder. They had to let me come in there for free. So anyway, what up, Jay Clean? Welcome. So here's the deal. Mac 3. You watched it, correct?
I did.
Okay, I watched it. There were some discrepancies to say the least, and I kind of chatted with Ian Carnegie about it. I chatted with some athletes that took place in it. Before I get in deep into that, what was your thoughts of the event?
Um, I wasn't the biggest fan of that. I guess the format in which they did their team thing, where you could just throw anybody up there, stuff like that. Like I wasn't expecting that to take as long as it did.
Hmm.
Because it was kind of it kind of got, what's the way I'm gonna say it? For me, that kind of got kind of stale and boring because you just kept seeing this. It was very repetitive, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I thought I was watching just the super matches. I mean, the
yeah.
concept's cool, but um, you know what I mean?
Like it should have been its own event.
Yeah, exactly.
And everybody, I hope Ian Carnegie and JJ Jackson are watching the show because we are not crucifying them. It's just stuff that we
No,
saw, and
like I said, I think that to me took away from what the card was portrayed to be, right?
right.
The biggest Mac card yet, the most high profile matches Mac has had yet, and then that you lead off with that.
Mhm.
That's my opinion. I would have had
Right.
them as separate. I would have had that if it was me. I would have had that as like going on YouTube for free with a QR code at the bottom or a link at the bottom to buy the pay-per-view to show people like, hey, this is what we can do. This is live. Now come check out our pay-per-view at the
Yes. Yeah.
website.
Okay. Yeah, I get that. Or maybe that could have took place Friday night. Live on YouTube and go, hey, don't forget tomorrow, get the pay-per-view because you're going to have so and so. This
Exactly.
is what I would have done, and I want your
It,
opinion. Everybody in the chat, I want your
yeah,
opinion.
that could
They
have
could
been
have ran that
it'd been a great marketing.
right. They could have ran that Friday night, right? And tell me if I'm wrong. Everybody in the chat, Nathan, tell me if I'm wrong. They could have ran that Friday night, right? For free on YouTube. And then why that event's going that Friday night, interview some of the guys that'll be on the main card the next day on pay-per-view and just says, hey, Artem, you're taking on Auden. How do you feel about tomorrow's match? And yada, 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 yada. Okay, thanks for joining us. Hey, everybody, that's Artem. He's taking on Auden. Be sure to get the pay-per-view tomorrow. They can kind of spin it like that. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, because they had that press conference, and it was really hard to hear people in their press conference, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I just think from a marketing perspective of trying to market your brand and your product, having a free thing like that on YouTube would be beneficial in promoting your brand. That's just my
Mhm.
personal opinion.
Yeah. I mean, and I hope, our press conference next week with Arm Guys, I hope, we can hear everybody. I'm still trying to figure out how they're going to line that up. Did you see the cup, by the way, we're going to be pulling for?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's freaking big. So, couple things, and I want to get your opinion. So,
Okay.
and I'm talking to you as a referee now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, anytime an athlete competes on these different organizations, the first thing you need to do is read the rules, because every organization has a different set of rules, right? Just like you go
100%.
into someone's house, everybody's household got a different set of rules. So, that's the first thing I did going to this ArmGods thing, because, every title match is best of 7 for 1. And then, you got the 2 inches on the back of the pad. So it's like, oh, okay, we're kind of dealing with wall pads. So there's that.
Yeah.
Now, going into the MAC thing, I saw some things. I saw a few premature wins. Like, they were almost to the pad, and I saw them, hey, stop, match. I'm like going, I don't believe the knuckle, or I'm sorry, the wrist bone even broke the plane, and they were calling a win. And I'm trying to figure out, like, what exactly.
Well, it's hard to
What was
say,
that?
right? Because we're not like, it's kind of like when people try to protest a call at a tournament or something like that, and they're trying to use cell phone footage where it's at the angle this way instead of this way. So
Mm-hmm.
you're looking downwards. It's inconclusive evidence because of the angle of which the camera's facing. And
Right.
the camera angle which they had wasn't conducive for like a flat angle of the pin pad. It was always slightly downward. So you're going to have it to look like possibly that it's not buried when it actually could be breaking the plane.
Yeah, and well, you also got to look at the table. The table's not flat across either.
No, it's not. It's
It
concaved
kind
in
of,
the center, and then
yeah,
it's raised up. And like even there, like I feel like the it's subjective, and by that I mean like with their whole, they have the red border on the front and the two sides, right? I still feel
right.
like that's a subjective area, like a gray area. And by that, I mean, when the athlete touches it and they're told to come back, I saw several matches where somebody was just resting on that red, I guess, boundary where they're not supposed to be, and they weren't ever called for it. They were just told to get their elbow back. Like to me, it's subjective because if you're trying to make it to where, oh, if you're on that, you have to come off that, almost like a warning,
Right.
then there has to be a standard across the board, right? Like we
Mm-hmm.
all know when you're pulling on a standard table under standard, WAF rules, if you do this, you come off that much, that's an elbow foul. With this, it's like, oh, my elbow touched it. I brought it back. It's okay. It touched it. It's like I said, it leaves room for interpretation for referees because you're going to have different referees interpreting things differently. If there isn't like an actual, you touch the red, you're coming off the pad. That's a foul.
Right. Well, what you're saying now, and I'm thinking, I'm watching the Pork Chop Jason Constantini match where Jason's at the back, and at some point, it seemed like the table, I guess you could say the fitting, kind of crumpled like that. I was like going,
Yeah.
I'm
hmm
looking, kind of going, so where do you call that? Because
Well, yeah,
you see
you're
what I'm
moving
saying?
the pad, right? Like I've seen all kinds of tables, right, in
Right.
my reffing career, and I've pulled on different tables. I've pulled on tables to where the pads are so soft and the material so stretchy, I can literally stretch the material of the pad an inch and a half, 2 inches off the front. So like I love it because if I'm going to dive into a hook with somebody, like I know I got an extra inch and a half at the front, and that they have to deal with. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Because I can move that material with my elbow. So if you're going to have pads that are going to be that way, they need to be extremely stiff. The material needs to be completely cinched down as tight as possible.
Um,
I thought there's a little bit of yeah, it kind of looks like it. I don't know.
yeah, it's just what I don't like, and this is not a Mac thing, but like some of the elbow pads where they're
Yeah.
so soft in the middle that you put any kind of pressure, your elbow sinks, and you can't even you can't drag, you can't like
hmm
slide the elbow, you can't use any of that 7x7, area of the pad because
Yeah.
it sinks in there. So
Yeah.
that's the one thing I don't. There's a happy medium.
I mean, they're
Because
great for people that just want to sit on their elbow and not move. But if you're somebody that likes moving, like I do or like you do, it's actually it's counterintuitive for what we like.
right. I mean, I don't want to get to a point where I use and I'm trying, the last couple of years, I'm trying to clean up some stuff with my style, like not pivoting off my elbow, which in certain situations and certain, opponents, I can pivot and be fine. But
Yeah.
there's times where it's like, okay, that match went longer than it should have because I was pivoting my elbow and I can't really use it. And a lot of it depends on the pass, but then you get those Mazarenko tables or,
I love
where
those.
that thing is just this,
Personally,
you know?
I like the Mazarenko pads, and that's because I'm not heavy on my elbow and I'm very light on my elbow, and I can just move everywhere on those. But that's a
Yeah,
personal preference.
right. Another thing as a ref, and this speaks probably louder than anything because if you watch the Pork Chop Jerome Loud match, and anytime you're a first ever participant at a MAC event, you got to kind of get used to the elbows, the elbow pads, the tables, the rules, and you got
Yeah,
all that going on that you got to kind of zoom in, and you can read the rules till you're blue in the face, but until you actually get on that table, you don't know what's going on, and then
100%.
you got somebody like the caliber of Pork Chop where it's just like, man, he might just take my arm off, and you really got to put everything in. So if you watch the match with Jerome Loud, everybody, everything was a ref script, which is good because now you can't sit there and maneuver all that kind of stuff. But now I'm talking to you again as a referee, Nathan. So
Okay.
once you get in here, it's thumbs down. I understand you got to kind of do this to even the webbing, but it seemed
Yeah.
like they were dumping Jerome's hand. Like
Should
Jerome's like, I
never.
can't do like that.
So you should never force an opponent's hand down. Now, in a ref script, right? I'm not talking about Ian's close your thumb. In a referee's grip, what most people don't understand is when I come to the table, and so I set up here and I want to be like this, right? So if I want to be up and down like this, it is the referee's job not to dump my
Right.
riser down. They should move my elbow back to allow me to keep my wrist in the position I like by moving my angle downward so I can still close. Right now, if I
Right.
come to the table and I'm like this, then you close me there. Right. That's just how
Mhm.
it works. And a lot of things people don't understand too is like, okay, if you say you want to cover your, if when I ask you if you want to cover your thumb or you want to go, if you want to go over your thumb or you want to go under your thumb, if you say you want to go over your thumb, right? So we'll give you an example. So if I want to go over my thumb and I close my thumb here, but I can only cover your thumb to there, like this, that's
Yep.
covering your thumb. I'm not going
Yeah.
to bring you up. If you come up, that is actually a foul in a referee's grip. So
Correct.
it's the referee's job to close the hand to their best ability to where the athlete wants it. Now, obviously, here's a great example. If I'm pulling Vitaly Letin, who's 6 foot
He's
ginormous and
6 foot
has
40. Yeah.
yeah, like he is obviously going to have to come down because and be at the back of the pad because he has a longer arm. Whereas
Right.
I'm going to be able to set up at the front of the pad and have this position where he is going to be slightly dumped with his riser at the back of the pad. And that's a thing too. I think people are not doing correctly is you should never force the hand down like ever.
Hmm.
Like when I do a ref script, you will see me, I will place a pinky like this. And this is the amount of pressure I put. Like you can see, like when I push down, like my fingers close. That's my pressure. I'm not applying anything. And what that does for me as a referee when I'm applying the ref script, so when I close the thumbs, I have the pinkies here. It allows me to feel if the athletes are trying to climb. Like I'm never forcing you down.
Right.
It's not my job. My job is to make sure center's right, the webbing level's right. I ask you if you want to go over your thumb or if you want to go under your thumb, and I accommodate from there. But never will I force you down.
Yeah. And again, this is like Clifton said. He goes, when I say cap my thumb, cap the damn nail, not the tip. It's not fully capping. So a lot of it has to do with when you go
Where
like
your
this,
hand.
okay,
Yep.
and here, I'll just do this. Hey, it's the ref script. I'm doing that. You want your thumb cap? I do. Okay, this is where the puller, don't do this because then when they close it, that's where you're going to get that.
Yep.
See what I'm saying?
You can be
If you
mad
want
at
to cap
us,
the thumb,
but the
then I
thing
want to
is
cap
that
my thumb down. I'm not
yeah,
moving. So tell me, as
Yeah.
a referee, tell me here we're in the referee's grip, and I got the down ref holding our wrist here, right? And
Okay.
you ask me, you want over or under? So I want my thumb capped. Instead of doing this, you can do that and not get called for a foul, correct?
100%. As long as when I close your thumb, right? When I close your thumb, you don't go, and try to whoop, whoop,
Right.
and force your opponent down. If I feel that, yeah, you're catching a foul. But here's the thing,
Okay.
Clifton. I understand what you're saying, but if you are set up dumped and you close your thumb to there, right, because of how dumped you are, and I close you to there, if you were to come up in a referee's grip and make it that way, then it would actually it's technically a foul. There's
Right.
no two ways about it, unfortunately. Like that's the way rules are written.
Yes, Jay Clean, this morning. It is 9:16 a.m. West Coast time right now. So yes, it's still morning.
For
Um,
me, with the pork chop match, Jerome does have a bigger lever and stuff like that.
mhm.
Uh, thanks, Clifton. I agree. But to me, what they should have done is bring Jerome's angle back, right? Moved him back on the pad.
Yeah.
With being the taller athlete, the longer levered athlete, instead of forcing him in this position to where it gives the Porky the chance to just go over the top of him with a high hook or a post, bring his elbow back and then keep his angle where he wants it.
Right. So, Jay Clean, you want to know who won the matches? We'll get into them right now. Okay. Hey, Coach Ray and Josh Rodriguez. We both picked Coach Ray to win, and like I said, nothing against Josh, but it just seemed like I don't
Well,
want to
like
say it was a throw-in match. It just seemed like it was just eh,
I I felt it was a mismatch, and like I said, after watching the way Josh pulled with Danny, which is what I
mhm.
was referencing to, I felt Ray was the heavy favorite.
Oh yeah, and so did I. I mean, again, and like I said, when we make these predictions, these are no personal, nothing personal, but we both hit that, so we both scored a point on that. The next one, Matt Oliver versus Blake. Is it Boline? I
Something
can't,
like that. Yeah.
I can't pronounce that name, but
Hey, can you
we
pull up
both.
Clifton's? Can you pull up Clifton's post you just made?
What if setting up with a rise and tip is
So like
only
this?
covered? Is that ref's discretion?
No. So if you're setting up like this, and you close your thumb and you get to there, let's say. So you have to understand things too. It's also based upon the thickness of the opponent's hand you're pulling. Like for me,
Mhm.
like if I pull a lot of the guys at our club, like I can get fully around them like this and get the spot I want. Now, if I pull Robbie, whose hand is this damn wide, like
Yeah,
I only get to there. So it's also based upon the size of hand you have and your opponent's hand as well. So there's a lot that
yeah,
goes into it.
I would agree. Especially, me pulling in like a 242 class where, there's a good chance that I'm going to go against people with a wider hand. So guess what? I may not even get a chance or opportunity to cut my thumb even. And that
Exactly.
changes the dynamic too. And it could change the
100%.
match. So.
Which is why, like, I encourage everybody that comes and trains with us and starts playing with us to pull this way and pull this way because there's times where somebody's going to have so thick a hand, or even in training, to where this is actually going to make you be able to be okay. Like, if you do get with a referee that gives you a really shitty setup, and let's be honest, there are times that's going to happen, you know how to respond to it and fight out of it. Uh-oh, Jody Pros. Dad, are we still good? Are we still live? Checking to see if we're still live. Okay. Okay. Well, while we wait on Jody, I'm gonna read the chat. Give me some talking points, guys. Any questions you have for me? Jody, be back. Yeah, Frozen Thunder. No, Gone Thunder now.
All
Oh,
right.
Jody back.
Go ahead.
You got hacked.
Probably, good thing I'm not paying anything. So, but
Yeah.
so go ahead, finish what you were saying.
No, we're good. Yeah. What I was just saying was like I tell the guys at the club when I come and train with us to practice both ways, like covering the thumb and not covering the thumb, because then in case you do get put with a referee that's not as high a level and they put you in that spot, you know how to respond to it.
Right. And then a lot of it's feel like you can sit there and know you may have a certain game plan against a certain opponent. Then as soon as you grip up, you're kind
Yeah.
of going, oh, wait a minute. Now, either A, his hand is smaller than I thought, or B, good Lord, his hand is thicker than I thought. And that may
So
change everything up. Like, do I want to go to strap now? You know what I mean?
so
So,
so so Justin, here's the thing. If an opponent decides not to move their elbow back and it's a referee's grip and I place their elbow somewhere and they move it forward, they're getting a foul. At that
yeah,
point, like when the opponents fail to negotiate a grip and it becomes a referee's grip, I get to now dictate elbow placement and stuff like that. Like I said, as a referee, I'll never try to force a riser down. I will tell you, I need you to bring your level down so I can get webbing height. Now, however you choose to do that, but if you choose to dump your own riser, that's you. But I would always recommend bringing the elbow back.
there you go. Oh, here we go. Check this out. And we'll get to this too. How many people are going to call out Auden in the next month? Now we've seen he can be beaten. I've seen two so far. Okay, so hey, we'll get to that too. We'll get to that. The third match was Daniel Swartz and Daniel LeBray. You picked LeBray, I picked Swartz. I thought, and for a minute on the go, Dan Swartz had a good hit control, but you talk about a
Yep.
guy that dug deep and kind of, I think he
Hmm.
was patient enough. I think the key to
He
that match
was
was patient and to where,
100%.
Swartz was strong, but he just drained out. And I'm
Yeah,
starting to
100%.
realize something. I'm starting to realize that people want to drain their opponent out the first 1 or 2 rounds, then really kind of get to him. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a great tactic,
Mhm.
especially against, and I'm not trying to shit on anyone here, but especially to somebody that only has one lane, right? If you know you're strong enough in that lane to give them problems and wear them out, and then you know you have another lane you can access later on in the match, I think it's a phenomenal idea.
Yeah.
Like I've been in matches where I know I can hook with that person, and I'm just like, well, my top roll is the path of least resistance, and their arm is, we're close, but I think their arm's stronger than mine. I'm going to
Right.
try to blow their arm up with a top roll initially, and then go inside.
But you're hitting for position to drain
Hmm.
them out rather than hitting
100%.
for the win.
Yeah,
So,
because my thing is like if I can take 10% off you, 15% off you around, right? And I'm still
mhm.
staying relatively fresh because I'm in an advantageous position. Then once I have the steam off you, where I'm like, okay, now I'm confident I can go inside. I'll go inside.
Yeah, and there you go. Because now everybody's starting, not everybody, but a lot of people are starting to do that now, where this sport evolves so often, so many times, where the strap is now a style. Draining your
Oh,
opponent is a strategy.
100%.
So
100%.
sometimes you got to roll with it, people.
I love
All right,
grinding the
match
strap.
match four. I'm excited, and I sat there and posted. I am now a Milo Larrett fan. Okay,
I got this one wrong. And
yeah,
Milo
I'm.
leveled up from the last time they pulled, which is impressive.
Woo, that dude came in there 6'5", and man, and you can tell between Auden and Milo that they got some of their dad's.
You
What
know,
should I use?
honestly, you know,
They got
honestly,
some of
if
this.
I think Milo is more genetically gifted for arm wrestling than his brother is. If I'm just being honest, like
Mhm.
I think Milo has a lot I mean, I think they both have potential, but I think Milo could potentially have more potential.
When he went here, okay, so look it's the cupping, but it's the cup. It's not just this; it's this. Okay, it's inside, but it's also cut down. When he
Yeah, it's
got
a high.
that
Yeah.
and that long ass lever and caught it, my man Verma like this, I was like, oh, it is done. This is a thing about trapping your opponent. Now, if you do this, that's kind of hard to bust out unless you got some of the Hermes, you know, straight back pressure to kind of straighten that
Yeah.
out. But when you go here in there, that's a trap, man, that you can't even But it's like, wow. But watching him is like, dude, I like this dude. I mean, he's not as like in your face as Auden is, but he was talking a little trash, and I understand sometimes you got to do that in super matches to kind of spice things up, and I get that, but at the same time, it's just he's not a total dick, like he's not a dick on the table. So I love Autumn. Yes, the Drew. Yeah, Tom Stubblebine. I get it. Don't know what he's doing these days. I don't follow him on YouTube anymore. So there you go. But yeah, Milo with the sweep, by the way, 3-0 versus Berman.
Like I said, I was definitely wrong about that one.
Oh yeah. Next match was Joseph Spillar and Shay Dickey. I didn't know. I knew little to nothing about Joseph. I know of Shay Dickey, so you and I picked him. He looked dominant. We both scored points on that. So at this point now, we're both at 3, right? This is where we start separating. We start doing this, okay? Because, yeah, Matt Smith and Mike Hit. So, again, we talked about there was Hitman and the Hitman.
Yep.
Both on the same card. So, you got Mike Hitman hit against Matt Smith. I picked Matt Smith. Mike showed me something. You picked Mike. Mike showed me something. Resilient. I'm thinking, man, this dude is big time over here. And so, again, some of the tough things, and this is why we had Brian Parliament on the show last week to kind of help us out, because I'm thinking, there's some Canadian athletes I'm not aware of.
Yeah.
Mike was one of them. And, I decided to go with Matt Smith. You decided to go with Nate. Or I'm sorry, you decided to go with Mike. Mike won, put you up 4-3. So,
like I said, I try to be astute with everybody through North America. It's hard, but especially with like the work I'm doing right now, I still try to keep my my studying, different athletes up.
Well, you got a Canadian jersey for Pete's sake. Now, here we go. The controversy. Here's one of them. And we talked about that. Jerome Loud and Pork Chop. Pork Chop ends up winning 3-1. One thing that kind of
Can I say before you I think if you run that match back 5 on a traditional arm wrestling table, 5 on a Mac table, I think Jerome wins it his 5 on a traditional table, and I think Porky wins 5 on the Mac table.
Well, what was
under
doing?
Under standard rules and under Mac rules.
Right. So here you go. And I'm answering Jay Clean right now. Talking about me and Uncle John. Right now I'm 232. Uncle John's probably, just south of 300 probably. So
no. He was pulling 42s.
Here's the thing. So was he? Because he looks bigger than that. The dude looks like humongous.
I thought he was 242.
Because when's the last time he pulled though?
I know he pulled Texas State at 242.
Have you seen him lately?
No, I haven't seen him lately. But I know he pulled Texas State at 242.
That dude, when he was on the show with Tim and Ozzy, I was like, the dude is looking thick, but so much for getting out of 198, right? So he's just trying to be massive. So it's like, all right, cool. So again, with Pork Chop and Jerome, I was trying to figure out was it the nerves, because Pork Chop's pulling that table before, but he was just taking false start. Was he purposely doing that and trying to get in his head, or was that a strategic thing, or what?
I think it's a strategic thing. You're kind of taking those little bumps to potentially give your opponent feels that you're not going to actually go with, and or put some fatigue on their hand, wrist, and arm. I mean, if it's not a foul, why not?
Right. I mean, try any kind of wear down tactic, to kind of get your opponent to kind of lose a little bit of juice, whether it be 5% or whatever, just in the setup. And I was like is he trying to fucking purposely foul out just to try to prove something? Or is he trying to frustrate Jerome? Because Jerome is a very quiet, but after one of the matches, he kind of jerked the hand off with the strap. So you could tell Jerome was getting kind of upset, like, dude, stop messing with
frustrated.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, what the hell? But again, this is where we talked about this earlier. They got here. They're kind of, like I said, I understand trying to even the webbing, but don't do this, because then you start doing that and then you put the strap on, you cinch it down, your hand goes down even more unless you fight for that up position. But it's like going, and Jerome said after the interview or after the match during the interview with Coach Ray, he was like, I'm frustrated because, I mean, I can't pull with my wrist dump like that. You know, so it's kind of like I get that. And, yeah, to a certain degree, if they were to run that match back where, you know, hey, what if you got your own grip? I don't know. It all depends. I know from a pay-per-view standpoint, you don't want to sit there and mess around. You know, that's why some matches are like 30 minutes because they want to sit there and mess around, and the referees are not doing the job.
I think under a standard referee's grip, you know, where the referee closes them and then closes the hand, I think the matchup is different. That's just my opinion. I might be wrong, and if I'm wrong, I'll admit I'm wrong. But I think on a traditional rule set on a traditional table, I still feel Jerome is the favorite.
Yeah. And we'll see. I don't know what's next. Maybe he'll be at another MAC event, you know, try to redeem himself. Who knows? I did kind of talk to him, you know, or message him back and forth about that and stuff. And him and I talked. And I know I told Ian, I said, hey, man, you know, great pay-per-view to put on. Thanks for, you know, sharing it, you know, and having us buy it. And he was like, hey, I want your feedback, honest. And here's the thing about Ian. Ian's not one of these guys that's like going, hey, tell me how good, tell me how great the event was and all that kind of stuff. He wants, if there's negativity, tell him so he can fix it. I know a lot of promoters don't want to hear that because it's like going, I don't want my events to be,
yeah, give a negative light,
right?
Negative
But
publicity.
if you're gonna be good at it, and if you want your event to be better, you got to be able to take constructive criticism. I told Ian, there are some things I'm like, man, you might want to look at that, man.
Well, that's why I said about having that red line, right?
Yeah.
Legia,
that's when we get to Jason match.
Legia, that's not true. It's a possibility that it could be going that way in the future, but right now it's not. Potentially in the future. Yeah. That's what Ingen said.
Right. Baby steps, right? Baby steps.
Yeah.
Bruce Sierra's in the house. What's up, Brian? So we both lost that one. So I'm at 3, you're still at 4. Next match was BLM and Ole, and BLM was a last minute addition. He took the place of Brad Grundy, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So watching him in there, and I was wondering because this was a left-hand match, correct?
Yes, sir.
Because January, BLM pulled James Beach, who will be my opponent next week, and lost 4-0. And I'm thinking, and I kind of messaged him after the match going, dude, was he that much stronger? He was like, he was strong, but I wasn't 100% ready coming off of surgery or whatnot, or injury. I'm sorry, with injury or something like that. And, then he last minute jumped in this one. I'm thinking, are you still 100% yet? Because it's one thing to, I want to be a part of this car, you eager, beaver, and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, if you're not 100%, are you doing yourself any favors? Is it a disrespect to the promoter and your opponent when you're not even 100%? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah, Grundy got hurt. Not sure what it was, but I think he said he must be talking about Ingen's thing, right?
Yeah, the ref script, yeah.
Okay. But yes, Jay Clean Grundy got hurt, but it was, Ole. We both picked Ole. And again, I'm glad that one of the things I like about BLM, he'll take a loss, won't blame nobody, but you know what? I gotta get better. I gotta climb and claw back up into the top ranks of the rankings and stuff. I like that. That's the kind of attitude you gotta have.
I still have Ole as a favorite, even if it's a healthy BLM, personally.
Yeah, but the BLM I like is like, hey, I took a loss. Some people take a loss and they'll go into hiding for like fucking 6 months. You won't hear nothing for them, So, hey, next match. So, we both got that right. I'm at 4, you're at 5. Next match, John Tarian, Daniel Price. I was wondering and this was a left-hand match because John is saving that right for Craig Tullier at your event in Arlington. So I was wondering, when you take matches like this close, and I'm wondering what's your opinion about that? Even if it's the opposite hand, what's your opinion about someone taking a match like this when they know and hell, what, in a couple weeks? Now would have been 3 weeks then that they have to go ahead and take on Craig Tullier.
Personally, if it was me, this is me. I'm not John or anybody else, but personally, I would not be stepping on the table to do anything as like that strenuous 3 weeks out. I would be into my full taper. Like I would be doing my last heavy session that week, and then I would start tapering down the weight and increasing the rep scheme. But that's the way I do things.
Right. Leggett says, what are the setup rules at Mac and how effective is it? It's
So you close your thumbs. Picture
yeah,
wall. Picture wall setups, pretty much identical. And the only difference is if you slip one time and go to the strap, you're in the strap the rest of the time. Whereas wall was like 30 seconds to get the strap.
right. My man Paul Cruz in the house. What's up, Paul? What is going on? Dan Swartz says, yes, Mac was a great experience and a humbling one at that. Danimo is no joke. So yes, and Swartz, I'm gonna tell you something, man. Nightmare, I had you winning. You had to go, you had it, and then all of a sudden it was like he held here to kind of drain you out. And we Nathan and I talked about earlier how now that's one of the things people do their opponents now, try to drain, that stuff. Yes, we covered your match. We went in order, by the way. So
Yep.
yeah, we covered your match. But you had it off the go. You had control, but it almost seemed like there was a stopping power that Danimal had that you couldn't get over, and you're kind of wearing yourself at that same point. So I'm wondering with the MAC rules, because you know how it is sometimes, Nathan, when you get stuck and you can't move your opponent, some people just take an elbow foul to get the restart.
There, you can't
I don't
do
know.
that.
Yeah, see, exactly, Plex is in the house. But John Terry in one. He's taking on Craig Tullier in Arlington coming up here in
What,
a couple weeks now, right?
17 days? Let me see. I'll tell you the exact one. We are right now,
Mm-hmm.
because I have all the stuff. Yep, 17 days away.
17 days. And you know what? And I'm glad that he was able to escape with no injuries. So we don't want that. So
No, we definitely don't want that.
So we got 4 matches left on this card that we can start going to some WinterBlast and ArmGods stuff. So this is one I was interested in. Doug Allen and Allen the Hitman Ford. And I thought, and I said on the prediction show last week, if Doug was able to get a bite, and this might have been one of the matches I was talking to where, there was like another early, hey, we got the pin. I'm like going, and a lot of it depends on the angle of the camera. What we saw, the camera angle on the pay-per-view as opposed to what the ref saw might be a little bit different. It's hard to see, from where we're sitting up thinking, and I think it was match 1. I was like, oh, that's a pin. I'm like, oh, okay. And I understand you don't have to make contact with the actual pin pad for it to be a pin, but I'm like going, did this wrist really break the plane? But like I said, it's kind of hard when the table's like this.
Concaved, yeah.
Yeah, it almost seems like all you gotta do is just go side and you won. So I get that it does benefit to a certain degree. I don't know. Well, let me ask you this. Using a Mac table, and Nightmare, you're on it. You can chime in on this too. When the table that we're used to pulling is like that, but a Mac, they kind of go like that. Does it benefit someone who's just straight side pressure? Because then they don't have to do a whole lot.
Well, think about the old school donut pads, right?
Yeah.
Like you used to be able to just wedge your elbow up against that thing and use it as like a strong pivot point to drive off of and or catch yourself off of, which is kind of why they went away from those.
Yeah, you could just lock your elbow here. You couldn't pin it. You had a drag, but even then, because of the donuts like this, you didn't have much to drag back on, because if you drag back on, you stop right there. Like here, if I'm at the front of the donut pad, right, I'm here, I go to drag back. Wow, that's as far as I can go. So it was all side pressure then. That's why people like Richard Lucky was nice on that.
Yeah, I mean the Mac thing. I mean it is essentially it's a wall pad inverted.
Dan Plexman says I didn't really notice a huge difference for anything pulling on the Mac table. Well, the thing is, though, is that it's more of a freedom. You can, go around as long as you stay within those parameters, And like I said, pulling in the back, you really can't tell if you're on the back until maybe elbow falls off, I guess, But Swartzy, my man, says, got to run. Much love, Jody. Love to share my experience one day. It's definitely a table that caters to side pressure, especially when they let you carve in a lid. Ooh, okay, that's interesting. So if they let you carve in just a tad bit, it's all side pressure for all you side pressure people. So do we see Tazilla at one of these events then? Because if you can get this and you can go straight side pressure.
Well, Todd's side pressure hasn't been a lot like this lately. It's been like this, driving everything through pronation, which is why he's been killing top rollers.
Right. Dan Plexman says,
why can't they?
It's nice because elbows can't fall off the pad. Yes, because like the back of the pad, you can tell if you're on the edge and you'll elbow when you elbow foul, you'll know it there because everything is flat. It's hard to tell.
I mean, I saw people coming off the pad.
Can you feel? I wonder if you can feel
straight
that
off the back. There were people coming straight off the back of it.
So Dan Plexman, tell me something. Can you feel like if you're going sideways? Can you feel if your elbow's coming off the side of the pad? I guess if the table's flat, you don't really come off it anyway. But can you feel
it's got that inch, that red border around it, right? That's supposed to be like heavy stitching.
But can you feel that though? I mean, sometimes when you're like deep into a match mentally, you're not feeling that. You're just going at it, or you got to trust and hear the ref on that side saying, "Get your elbow back." We can feel it on the actual pad because it's like this thick.
But that's the thing too. A referee's not supposed to tell you to get your elbow back on the pad.
Well, in Jason's match,
that's deemed coaching,
right?
So
even that's true. But if they're saying, hey, get your elbow back, it's almost like the King's move, right? And you're like that. They're saying, stand up. Is that still coaching, or is that more of I don't want you to break your arm?
No. That's a warning. You're given a warning essentially to come up, and if you don't come up immediately, it's a stop and a foul. Whereas if you're saying, "Hey, watch your elbow," that's coaching the athlete to let them know that they're about to come off the side of the pad.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
You're giving a command compared to giving advice, essentially.
Okay. Well, Plexman says he can actually feel that, Oh, you know what? I got a Canadian jersey too, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got Team Ontario. Thank you, Dan Plexman. See, so yeah, you ain't the only one, Nathan, that got a Canadian jersey, by the way. Don't make me get mine out. If you want to sit there and show I can show mine too.
Well, I just have the Canadian. It's on the Canadian flag right there, so I show the Canadian flag for Ryan. Since he's not here.
Yeah. See, and this is the M&M connection, but it's all right. So, match I want to talk about. You talk about digging deep, and we talked about this last week about
Tiny and Porky.
Yeah, Jason Constantini, because I was wondering, even though here's the thing: when two super matches in one day, one on each hand, depending on who's first. And I wonder how much juice do you have in the tank? Jason's like fresh, right?
Yeah, you know what I think's funny? Remember how they said it's like impossible to Kings move on that table?
That's what Jason's doing.
That good, by golly, did Jason Constantini figure that out until that press?
Right.
Because he was in a full.
Earlier in the show, we talked about that was the match I was referring to when we were talking about that, where you're here, but it's like going some of the surface of the table kind of crinkled up, and so I'm thinking, okay, so you can see the red touching the elbow. And I'm like going, is this a call or not? And I was kind of waiting to see what happened, but he got back up and did it again. So it's like
I don't know the answer to that, Drew. I've never read through the rule set, if I'm being honest. So
it's interesting. It's something you would have to really, like I said earlier in the show, if you venture in a different organization, you got to roll with the rules, whether it be MAC, Knuckles Up, ArmGods, Arm Wars. whatever the case may be. If it's best of 5, best of 7, are your elbow pads 7x7, 9x7, whatever the case may be. So, there's something to look at. But yeah, Jason came out with the win. Good for him.
That yeah.
I like Porky took that loss, and Porky was like, "Hey man, this is your moment. Enjoy it." Good man, good man. All right. Oh, Pleckman says, plus Jason was running around like headless chicken running the event. The guy was a nonstop running all day. So much leg work for arm wrestling event. So yeah, when you got a guy, and I've tried this before, trying to put on an event, ref event, pull the event. I can't do it. I will not do it anymore. I can't flick that switch on and get my brain in there. 2 more matches, and right now, we're still one apart. But again, here's some more separation because now Rick Heidebrick, Philip Larson, 2 big, humongous dudes, And
that
I
was
picked
wrong. Was that right?
No, you were right.
That's what I thought.
You
I
picked,
thought I was right. I was like, wait, did I pick Rick? No, I didn't.
no, you picked Philip Larson. I picked Rick Heidebrick. I thought because obviously Rick is 310, but Philip makes him look small because
Tiny.
he coming here, man. And I thought Rick would try something sneaky and different. It's kind of hard when your opponent got the same kind of measurements as you do. He's just bigger.
And one of his coaches is in his corners.
There you go.
Because Philip Larson is, with the Latvians, so he gets coached by them.
Exactly. Hey, what's up? Vince McMahon of the ArmGods, Marcus Thompson. What is up, my friend?
You don't want to be the Vince McMahon anymore. Remember, he's in all kinds of trouble.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Should I say Eric Bischoff then? Oh, there you go.
Ted Turner. Ted Turner. There you go.
Oh, I like that one. So Phil Blossom won. You picked him. So now you're at 8 and I'm at 6. And it doesn't matter because you won now because we got 1 match left and you're up by 2. Now, let's talk about the main event. Auden Larrett, Artem Taranenko, and I'm going to let you take this one first. You can go ahead and run with it. I'll give you my thoughts.
No, Jason, Jake Lee, no. He's not Latvian. He's Swedish, but he is coached and trained by the Latvians. Okay, to the main event. It went exactly how I thought it would. I almost identical. They even let. I mean, I noticed Auden even started very early in the last 2 rounds, and it didn't matter. It wasn't. There was a huge gap in strength. Auden was able to get his hand in round 1, but how often do you see Artem pull with his hand fully engaged? It's pretty rare. It's usually kickback pronated side pressure.
Right.
And Auden got that hand control and he got real happy there and started trying to talk stuff. And then Artem said, okay, well, hold my beer, and just went sideways. And it was all she wrote from then on out.
And he outweighed Artem by Artem by what, 25 pounds?
Probably more. Probably
maybe 30 or something like that. Because I look at it like this. I'm glad this match happened for a couple reasons. One, and again, this is no disrespect to Auden, but now it was good to see him pull somebody that wasn't a YouTube sensation. You know what I mean? Aru! I got to put that out there. Aru! So it was good to see him go, okay, you're not pulling some YouTuber, that kind of stuff. You're pulling an actual arm wrestler now. So now we get to see what you could do against somebody who got the table IQ. You may outweigh them, but they got table IQ, and they're pretty much strong too. So it was good for him to get a taste of that. And now someone in the chat earlier said, how many people are challenging Auden now?
A lot. But here's the thing too. I mean, it gives Auden Neil Pickup said it best. Auden needs to be searching matches that he's not going to win, that are going to be tough matches for him, because you're going to learn significantly more of where your level is at from taking a beating like he took to Artem than you are from just going through and beating everybody. He now knows where his level is at in North America, right?
Yeah,
because there's several people. Okay, there's people that Artem can't touch in North America, right?
Yeah.
We know that. So now he knows, and Artem's a 98 guy, a 198 guy.
Yeah.
Um, so now it's back to the drawing board for Auden. Don't take this as like, oh, I lost, yada yada yada. Yeah, you did, but now you go back, you start trading where your weaknesses are at. I mean, it appeared that side pressure wise, Artem had a significant advantage.
Mhm.
So now it's going to be putting more attention into maybe, that tight inside pulling instead of trying to do that open arm top roll, so it's
But
just back to the drawing board. Like it's a blessing in disguise for him. Like it ultimately is.
it is. And like I said, take nothing away. It doesn't mean when someone loses 3-0, it doesn't mean they're a horrible puller. Okay. I don't think Autumn, he has the whole world in front of him, man. Like he has it all in front of him. But now, like you said, it's good that he took some of those losses or he took a loss. So now he can kind of go back and go, and now I have to reinvent myself or I have to go back to the lab, tweak a few things and stuff and see what goes on. I
Well,
still like Milo because I just
for
think just
me, and this is just how I would look at things from my perspective. If I was in an Auden situation, I would
yeah.
go away from super matches, right? And I would
Mm-hmm.
start focusing on my provincials up there, my Canadian nationals up there, because you're going to get really good competition at provincials and Canadian nationals. Like, go win the provincials, go win the nationals, start building it up again throughout
Go win the
everything, and
Ottawa
then
Open or something.
yeah, exactly. Like, go get more get more table time. It's only, I mean, I don't understand. He's with his dad all the time, so he's getting on the Ottawa high hooker, so he's getting reps on the table. But reps on a table in practice versus reps on a table in competition, completely different.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. So
So
overall, I thought the pay-per-view was good. There's a few things they're going to clean up, and JJ and Ian are going to address. So they're going to go ahead and put their heads together, fix a few things for the next event. Don't know when that'll be, but now that we done put a bow tie on that, let's shift gears, my friend, because next weekend.
the Drew, yes, Mindy would have been a lot less nice to Auden,
Oh yeah,
and
he would have called him a cunt and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
speaking of
he'd have been
cunts,
talking. Oh, don't do it,
hey,
don't do it.
ArmGods, right? That's
Oh,
what
not
they
that.
they call everybody that. They call
No,
everybody that.
I
So
thought you were talking about something else we talked about. I was like, don't go there.
no. After dark. No. ArmGods coming up. What do I expect today? If you looked at my social media, if you looked at my Facebook, the cup is up. Well, I
Can
like
we
that. The
go
cup
over the
is up.
matches? Can we go over the matches really quick, like the super matches for the Armed Gods? Like
Yeah,
just
let me go
call
ahead.
out the matches.
Yeah, we could do that, man. Let me go ahead and pull this thing up right quick because I'll be leaving, so I don't know if we're doing a show next Tuesday. I would imagine we are, but
But I figure we could at least shout out the super matches really quick. And
okay, here we go. So let's go. Nathan McCallum out of New Mexico, and I can't pronounce this dude's name. Mantis
I know who Nate
Trunkenix?
McCallan is. I don't know who
Yeah.
that guy is. If I'm being honest. I know who Nate McCallan is. Yeah, Nate looked really good against Mega Mike in Arizona last time they pulled Arizona State. So
Ooh. Oh, Marcus said there's a show tonight at 6 p.m. or at 9 p.m. Okay, whose time zone is that though? That's what I want to know. Whose time zone is that? Because
if it's England's time zone, you're in trouble.
no, not they're like 8 hours ahead of me. So
Oh, well, that's fair.
UK. So I'll have to do so what? That's like 1 o'clock my time, I think.
Something like that.
Hey, tag me. I'll get on that show. So Nathan, yeah, what do you think about that? And it
Like
may
I said, I
sound biased.
watched.
I know those guys are biased about us. So I already know.
Yeah,
So
I mean, Nate McCallan's very strong. Like he's very, very strong. He looked very good in his match with Mega Mike. There's
mhm.
going to be a lane he's going to have access to. I yeah,
Yeah,
it's 50-50 in my opinion.
you got the captain, Bob Brown versus Josh Davis. This is the 95 kg right arm.
It's going to depend on a couple things. Can he keep Bob out of his spot? If he can get Bob to this position, which is extremely difficult to do, they'll win the match.
I don't
But
think
if
he will.
Bob
I
can,
think Josh will come. I think Josh will be like Josh can stay like this
Oh
and
well,
stay forever.
that's
Bob can stay
Bob's.
like that forever. So
Well, that a
both
flop press could potentially be Bob's kryptonite, but we'll see. It could be an absolute death match.
both opponents, in my opinion, got sticky parts.
Yeah,
Bob can hang out like that, flip some pancakes with the other hand. Josh can do that, drink a Pepsi with the other hand, and it all depends on who can get to their spot first and drain out the other opponent. That's
yep,
just me, though.
yeah. It's gonna be. It's probably gonna be. What's the Jerry Levon is how it's gonna look. I mean, I'm sorry, Jerry and Michael Todd, where they just sat there for
Yes,
minutes.
exactly. And who's going to
Yeah.
tire out first? And like these matches are not in order, by the way, just so we know. I do know my match is the fourth match, but um,
Well,
we
I
got
wouldn't start warming up till after that match then. So
yeah, right. I'm after I think Merlot, I think I'm after him. UK has Noah Burton, Team USA has Kevin Collar, 105 kg right arm. So, and by the way, these weight classes are like IFA because three of us have to come down in weight to get 231. I do, Paul Cruz does, Paul Passmore does, because anything above 231, you're in the supers. By the way, even though the next day, WinterBlast, 242 weight class. Go figure, right? Who does that favor? So anyway, Kevin
that one I'm
Collar,
not sure on. I'm not sure on that one.
this is right arm, by the way, too.
50-50 then.
K-Dog. All right, your boy against James Beach for the left hand 105 kg independence title. And I'm
It's
telling you
gonna
right
be
now, hey,
similar to James Wall match.
yeah, and here's the thing. I've been watching a lot of so when they say watching somebody on TV or video puts 10 pounds on you, I sat there and I gripped up with James Wall at Washington State. Before I even touched his hand, the guy is like built like a granite Greek god, shoulders, arms. I'm thinking, dude, I don't want to go on a hook with this dude. And, I was like, my brain said, whatever you do, don't let your wrist do this. If it goes like that, you're done for.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was where my brain was going. I'm thinking, okay, here we go. So I'm jittery. The nerves are going. I'm like, all right. And I get up there, and all of a sudden, I'm thinking, oh shit, And again, I got a decent sized hand, so gripping up a hand was like, oh, okay. I didn't say it was easy, but I was like I didn't feel as concerned, or I should say, worried. So got the hit, rolled him over, but yet again, planted his elbow, went up, and he was able to stop it. I couldn't get over. And then as I tried to reload, he fucking sucked me up and took me here, but then I was able to kind of just roll him back over. So
I mean, it's the same thing we talked about when they were setting up the U versus the Mega Mike match, the approach. I think you keep the same approach.
yeah,
You kept the same approach with James Wall, and it worked out well. And I think you keep the same approach for this match, and I think it works out very good in your favor.
And I got a few things too that we can talk about after dark. Ooh, after dark, we still have that, folks.
It's still $49.99.
There you go, $49.99. So this is a world title match. 78 kg right arm, Craig Sanders and Corey Miller. So when you talk about another match where both guys are known for their speed, we talked about Bob Brown, Josh Davis. Both guys are known for having a sticky spot. These gentlemen right here are known for having the speed. One's called the Flash. One's called the Bullet. Who do you get? Why, man?
Well, I hate to remember. Let's not forget that every time you'd see that, the Flash was always faster than a bullet. So
that is true. That is true. That is true. They're trying to set me up, man. Look, if Jody gets drunk with me Thursday, it'll be more like 1090 in Beach's favor. So they're trying to set me up, man.
Yeah,
they're going to be like.
I honestly just think Corey's going to be too strong. If I'm
you think so?
Yeah, I think Corey's just going to be way too strong because Corey lately has just been on a different level of strength. I know he didn't look so great against Mindy, but let's also not forget Mindy is not human. So
that's true. That is true. Okay, another independence title match, right arm. I think I'm the only one on the card that has a left hand match. See, never doubt the left hand. David Bradford, Jason Merlot, 95 kg independence title belt.
I give the edge to Merlot in this one. I'm not saying it's a giant advantage. It's probably like 60-40, but I do
Mm-hmm.
give the edge to Merlot.
I'm gonna say this: David Bradford's probably the thickest, biggest 95 kg puller I've seen. That dude does not look like he's 95 kg. That dude looks bigger than that. So I don't know where he puts it at, maybe in his shoulders, but that's a big dude. But Jason Merlot, yes, the fine wine. However, what you don't want to do is, look over that. The guy's a fisherman. He uses that hand and wrist a lot. And if you see some of his matches, he can roll over somebody. The questions were Merlot, can he have the stamina to last that? Because as we know, in the rules of the ArmGods, every title match is best of 7.
Yep.
So we got to remember
Jody,
that.
I'm not gonna sugarcoat and be like, oh, I'm gonna vote for this person because of the United States. No, I'm very honest about who I think is gonna win a match and who's gonna lose a match. So
There you go. What about
if
this
people,
one? Right arm, Connor Sale, Kevin Palco, 75 kg match.
I think if it goes into that deep, nasty spot that Palco likes, Palco can come out on top. But if he can hit Palco fast enough to take Palco outside his shoulder, that's a very good path to victory.
Ooh, see, and that's what again. I think with that, it's more like keep your head in the game, keep your head in the game. And the good thing about this card is the fact that a lot of us Americans, get a chance to get a taste of that international flavor. Like, okay, these guys are probably the smartest people on the table. The UK guys are very smart. They're very, you got to give them credit. You don't want to overlook that. Okay, right arm. This is right arm. 105 kg. James Wall, Paul Passmore. What we got?
James Wall.
Think so?
I'm just being honest, yeah. With Passmore hasn't looked the same coming down in weight. Like he looks great physically, but I have to question his endurance after that last knuckles up match.
Right.
And that's what I'm getting at. Like I don't know that he can sustain that level of intensity throughout what would be 5 rounds.
Yeah, best of 5. Okay, so Jinming, is it Jinming?
Whatever it was, yeah.
The guy he pulled that knuckles up. Now,
Yep.
here's the thing. Paul went up 2-0. Problem is that Paul hit a wall and that was it. I don't want to say Jinming was kind of like, I'm gonna freeze this dude. I'm gonna drain him out because now I can come back. He saw lane.
Mm-hmm.
And he made Paul look one-dimensional. And Paul and I have been talking, and it's like, so dude, let's get this stamina thing going. So he's been working on his conditioning, and I'm thinking,
But that's
Paul,
not a lot. That's not a great deal of time if you really think
no,
about it.
but I told Paul this is not giving away secrets, but I told him because we do have a game plan. But I told him because you got 2 guys, James Wall, Paul Passmore, that like to go inside. You do not want to go inside round 1 and drain each other out to the death because you still got more
Let's
matches
not.
after that.
So I mean, I look at the James Wall Craig Tullier match
Mm-hmm.
also as a gauge for this and how explosive Craig is. And I don't know that Passmore could stop Craig in some of the positions that James Wall was able to.
Right.
So like I said, I do give the edge, probably 65-35 to James Wall in this one.
Right. And I hope it Paul's like, bro, you got to come up with something. When it comes to super matches, this is what I think. You like baseball?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So when I say this theory, you'll understand. Everybody in the chat, when I talk about this theory, you'll understand if y'all like baseball. I look at super matches like a pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
You better have more than a fastball because when someone keys in on that fastball, then you're going to lose that match. You better have a slider, a knuckleball, or a changeup.
You got to develop tunnels. You got to have stuff coming out looking like a fastball that comes off that fastball.
A slider, whatever. So my point being is that Paul's good inside, but bro, somehow you better have a
Jay Clean. Next time I see you in person, we're fighting. Just for making that statement. Just saying.
and hopefully, and I told Paul, we've gone over a few things. We have a game plan, but super matches, you got to have more than one move. So we got 3 matches left. This one is for the world title, 105 kg right hand. Team USA has Paul Cruz. Team UK has Bogdan Stoica. This one might be the match of the night. And mind you, Paul Cruz just came off an Arnold winner.
I know this is hard because Bogdan is so good in so many different lanes.
Mm-hmm.
I see it going both ways. I honestly have it as a 50-50. I think if Paul can take that match here and make it being a hook and a nasty grinding war, he can win the match. But if he cannot stop that press, Bogdan's going to win the match.
Right.
That's how I see it. If he can stop the press and make Bogdan have to try to top roll with him, he's got a very good shot.
I think, in my opinion, not to be biased, but I think this is going to be the best match on the card. That's my personal opinion. I'm looking forward to that. And I don't know. I think that might be third to last match, I think. But
like I said, I honestly have it as a true blue 50-50. Like, I can't, if you ask me today who to pick as the winner, I would grab a coin, flip it, and whichever it lands on, that's who I'm picking because it could go both ways.
Right. So 11 matches, 6 of them are title matches. That was the second. We got 3 independent titles we already mentioned. We got 3 world titles. That was the second one. Then we got catchweight, right arm, Lee Weber, RVJ.
What's the catch weight?
I don't know. Marcus, you in the chat. What's the catch weight on that?
Yeah, what's the catch weight on this?
I'm concerned about this because
how's RVJ here after the Saunders?
Yeah, exactly. I was wondering, because I haven't pulled a tournament since Washington State in December.
Hold on. 105-ish? Is it 105 or is it 10? Is it ish? What's the ish? Are we talking a kilo, 2 kilos? That's a big ish.
Yeah. Yeah. Kilos and pounds don't equal the same thing. So, well, I mean, there you go. I'm in the same boat because what frame of mind is RBJ going to be in? Because after he took, because RBJ, some people say he gets in his own head. He kind of does, but I know he takes losses hard, and he's one of those guys. I love him to death, but when things don't go his way, he just disappears. He did that when he pulled a Sasho at ArmGods reality check and fucking disappeared, resurfaced.
I don't know how to take. I don't know how to take the 105-ish catch weight. We will allow them to just be fat and happy. Well, then why?
Yeah, so it's just, I really want, I want RBJ like, bro, I want you to take that match that lost you at the Saunders at the Montana Armbender and be so upset and pissed off that you come in here and you just roll right over Lee Weber.
There's a possibility, but there's also a chance Lee Weber wins the match. That's the thing.
Levon is 115-ish, So,
all right. Ryan Bowen.
Yeah. Have you seen him lately? Does his face change? Did he get face work done?
He got an earring.
Or was it I noticed that. Or was it it's like he got his face done, like he's about to go do a movie or something like that. Like
Botox?
It looks like that, but maybe it might be that AI shit. I don't know. But okay, the last match, the main event of the night for the super heavyweight right arm world title match. Mendigas Doskis versus Nick Stone. Nick Stone is going to replace Corey West in this. And because some people said, I think it might have been you, that the original match was Corey West and Mindy. And it was like, oh, Corey West is going to cream that guy. But now that Corey dipped out, Nick Stone is in, it might be, some people are saying 50-50 now.
Now, Jay Clean and I are definitely scrapping next time I see him talk about me with a nose stud.
Oh, I had that back in high school. I had like a diamond stud here and gold hoops. That was back in my Dennis Rodman days, but that's neither here nor there. But what do you think about that? Mindy versus
It's a
Stone.
much better match. It's a lot. I honestly have Mindy as the favorite. I just do. Mindy has more experience, and I think he's going to be better in a lane. Now, I'm not saying Nick's weak by any means. I think there's a way Nick can win this match, but I think it's going to be a very hard match for him. This is a much better match than Mindy and Corey West.
Right.
And it's going to give Nick Stone a really good gauge at where he's at. I mean, he looked really good at Knuckles Up.
Right.
But this will be very good for him.
Was that match left-handed? A Knuckles Up, or was it right?
I believe it was right, wasn't it?
It might have been. I can't remember. Yeah, it was right, because after that, there was some rumblings about Nick Stone and our co-host Ryan Espy getting together.
So. Yeah.
So there's your 11 matches. So
yeah,
all we need is to win 6 of them. The cup is staying here in the States.
That's not an easy. This is not an easy task.
No, it's not an easy task
for the U.S. to win 6 of these matches. Like, there's several matches to me are true blue 50-50s, and so we'll see.
Yeah, you know what? That's what you want, though. You want the 50-50 shots, because it's like you do that, and you kind of go, okay, you can flip a coin. That's one of the matches, because you don't want no easy ones. Although if you talk to anybody from the UK, they think, I'm the weak link of Team USA. That's okay. I want y'all to think that. So it's all right. But all of another, I'm leaving a week from today, flying to Denver, overnighting there, wake up Thursday morning. Corey Miller will meet me at the airport. We're flying together down there to Philly. So, yeah, it's going to be on. I am 1 pound off on making weight, so there you go. Considering I was 250 January 1st of this year. So, yeah, we're looking pretty good, feeling pretty good. So, Jay Clean's just
Jay I know. I see that.
So anyway, yes. Hey, Marcus, since you guys are going on at 4 o'clock East Coast time, 9 o'clock your time, 1 o'clock Pacific, where are we going? Is it going to be on the ArmGods channel? Or send me a link, because I will definitely jump on there. I got some cardio to do, whatever. But
I was going to say you can't say. I was going to say you can't say Brits. I mean, isn't there a South African polling too?
Okay, okay. Here's the thing, because Mindy is from Lithuania, is he not?
Something like that, yeah.
So here's the thing, because the thing was USA versus, Team UK, and, which would be England, right? But, when Corey West couldn't do it, there was like a poll like, hey, who should we get to replace him? Tim Bress's name came up. I think Espy says, I'll throw my name in the hat. I'm thinking, oh, no, he's Canadian. He can't do it. It messes up the thing. I'm thinking, Minnie's from Lithuania, so what the hell are we talking about, Wait just a fucking minute. All right, I already know who this person is. You know what? Beach, Wall, Minda are guarantees. Okay, so let me ask you a question. What's your version of guarantees? Are you talking about a sweep? Because that's exactly what's not going to happen. Ain't none of that, no guarantees. I tell you what. You know what?
Oh, I'm
going to absorb all these comments. And when they go live, I'm going to hop on there. I'm going to absorb that comment too. And I'm telling you right now, woo, man, I'm so fired up. I wish the fucking match was this weekend. But, hey, it's all right. I'm telling you right now, I'm coming. We're all coming. Yes. So there you have it, folks. Hey, we're about an hour and 14 minutes in. Just want to say, hey, thanks for chiming in on the MAC 3 results. We hit the prediction card for ArmGods. The next day is WinterBlast on Saturday. the biggest tournament in the country, by the way. I should add. And yes, I'm excited. There's some East Coast people I've yet to pull, so I'm excited about that. So hey, Nathan, stay with me. You know it's after dark time. Everybody else, thank you for joining us on the show. SB will be back on vacation next week. I'm sure we'll probably gloss over this one more time. I want to say ArmGods channel, they'll be going live 4 o'clock Eastern time, 1 o'clock Pacific. Check those people out.
Yeah.
They're
Then
going to be
Jay
having
Clink
to jump on there and fucking talk some shit
yeah.
too. So
Then
everybody,
we need
yes.
Ryan back. Then Jay Clink can start messing with Ryan again. Leave me alone, Jay.
So yes, thank you everybody for joining it. We'll talk to you guys real soon. Actually, tonight I'll be back on tonight because I'll have Saray on there. He trains for Brian,
yeah.
So I'll be on later on tonight too.
Neil was just out there.
Yes, so I'll be on there 6:30 West Coast time, 8:30 Central time. Come back on this channel. You'll see me and Saray get after it. So everybody, thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to y'all soon, as in tonight.